doing?
Hi, I'm Thea. I was obsessed with the Disney Channel growing up. It was tween and young teen pop culture. Until the age of 15, I was actively watching and enjoying the shows ongoing and new on the main Disney Channel and its epic boy version, Disney XD. At 16, the channel started flopping. Mainly the main one. But what I mainly looked forward to all of the years of me watching the Disney Channel was the seasonal events. There was Fa La La Days, Halloween in April, and whatever summer event that they had that year, but most importantly, Monstober. There were also episode events. The ones I remember are Protect the Planet Weekend, Whodunit Weekend, which was like a little mystery thing, Part 1 and Part 2 a few years later. And of course Freaky Freakend, where everyone was switching bodies with one another. Freakin' the freak. But again, most importantly, Disney Channel's Monstober. Fall is truly my favorite time of the year. Monstober excelled all of that to the nth degree. I would look forward to it every year, even when I couldn't hang out with my friends who had cable, or my nana who would let me come over to exclusively watch Disney Channel and then leave. I would watch the new seasons of my favorite shows when they came out on streaming, waiting for that 2010's Halloween-themed brain rot. When rewatching shows that came out when I was not fully conscious, I loved the Halloween episodes there too. So to commemorate my love for this part of my childhood, aka nostalgia bait, I'm ranking every episode in the Monstober lineup. In 2005, Monstober premiered as Disney Channel's Hauntoberfest, playing classic Disney-owned Halloween movies every day with a few special episodes in some programs, the only live-action one being an episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The taglines for the 2006 edition were, "No tricks, just treat. Tune in if you dare. 31 days, 13 hit movies, one network." In 2005, the premiere of Wizards of Waverly Place was technically a part of the newly named Hauntoberfest. One word, not two separate, big difference. However, it wasn't as big of a deal as it was in 2005 and 2006 due to the Witches and Wizards Night takeover, where they premiered Twitches 2 with Wizards premiering after. So since this was technically a takeover of Hauntoberfest, it is null and void in my bracket. There was also another episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, however it premiered in September, making it null and void in my bracket. Every other episode premiered in October. That is also due to 2008's Wiztober with a 2-episode Wizards of Waverly Place special and its comeback in 2009 with no special episodes, but 2 non-Wizard related Halloween episodes from different shows. Anyways, the 2 episodes of Wizards of Waverly Place do count due to it premiering in October. So technically it is Monstober. Oh, how am I looking, guys? Let me check how I'm looking right now. Oh my god.
Gnarly. Everything's gnarly.
Deal with it, guys. Guys, I'm taking care of my dad's 2 cats right now. They're little kittens, they're little babies, and they're playing with stuff over there. I have 4 cats now. My mom was talking about how the number of kids I have is the same amount of the cats I have. I'm outnumbered. Poor mom. Sorry, Mom. Imagine if I filmed the rest of the video like this. I'm gonna get to a point while filming these. 2012 was when we got the historic change to Monstober for the historic film Girl vs. Monster, premiering on Monstober Saturday. Now, there were technically no episodes on the Disney Channel roster that were a part of Monstober until 2013. That is because of their 2012 Halloween-themed run for their 4 biggest shows on the main channel and 2 on the XD channel. From 2010 to 2012, they abandoned the big Halloween events for their shows, yet made insane Halloween episodes for said shows. Trigger warning, white woman with a bonnet. Sorry, that was a lie. I just found a promo for all of the episodes for 2012, so that was all a lie. Falsehood. This led to the historic Monstober of 2013. One I knew and loved as a kid. 2013 has got to be the best year of my fucking life, dude. I went to Legoland for the first time that summer, and then I got this treat in the fall. Hell fucking yeah, dude. Side note, the channel's graphics during this time were insane to me. Nowadays, they've gone for the 2D with drop shadow style, but in the 2010s, we were getting 3D sports game text realness. The 2000s are reminiscent of the reality and teen talk shows during that era, but the 2010s took the colorful, quirky backgrounds and made them a behind-the-scenes backstage during intermission approach, except for Monstober. Their graphic design team had a field day. But there was also this brief period in the late 2000s, early 2010s, I think just the year 2010, where everything was like still the behind the scenes style that they had in 2011 onward, but it had that iPod Touch commercial style I forget the name of. Bro, it was so brief. Bring it back. I miss it so much. Following the again historic 2013 Monstober run, the network never did a Monstober again. Yet. there's still Halloween episodes post-Monstober, so we'll be including those in the list as well. Except for Andy Mack, seeing as half of the episodes are all taken off of streaming, including the Halloween episode, because one of the actors was a pedophile. Thank God with none of the kids in the show. Oh my God. On a lighter note, they got the Halloween episodes out of the way ASAP post-Monstober, having them air within the first week of October, which is very silly to me. I don't know, something funny. How am I looking now? Oh, cute. Let's go over the eras of my Monstober categories. 2005 to 2006 is Hauntoberfest, 2008 is Wiztober, 2009 and 2010 are the Lost Years, 2011 and 2012 are the Rebirth, 2013 is the Golden Year, 2014 is the Yellow Year, and 2015 to 2019 is Post-Monstober. Multiple shows have a correlating story or plotline within these Halloween episodes, like how Ant Farm specials take place in another dimension, how Girl Meets World has the main character's little brother be the narrator, introducing us to the story of the episode, or the multiple stories of the episode, how Liv and Maddie's school has an annual haunted carnival called Screamfest, and how the kids in Bizaardvark go around pitching spooky stories for their website, which leads to continuous spooky stories for the rest of the episodes. Now, I have two lists for my rankings. I have one for all the points, and I have one for my own opinion, which is the one that we are going to be going through today. The points are based on 4 simple categories: the plot, the acting, because this is the Disney Channel, the comedy, because these are sitcoms, and Halloween, not just if it's spooky, if it takes place on Halloween, and that is a very important distinction. All of them, including the episode's totals, are on a 10-point scale. I want to emphasize how unbiased I was throughout this video, okay? I did not want my nostalgia to influence my opinions, because I get mad when people do that for their own ranking videos. I've watched 15 of the 22 shows on this list. 18.5 if you count the ones that I watched barely, little at all, loosely, or one episode of. There are 47 episodes to talk about, so let's get into it! I wasn't really a fan of the Jonas Brothers' work outside of Camp Rock. Okay, they were too pretty for me. It was the same with Zac Efron and the boys from Big Time Rush. In modern day, it's Timothée Chalamet, Harry Styles for the last 5 years, and Michael B. Jordan pre-Killmonger. With that being said, I still have heavy nostalgia for these boys, seeing as I was obsessed with Camp Rock. But I'm too cool. These were shows I was obsessed with as a kid, but I was fighting to get through these episodes looking for the 2x speed button, and I never do that because I think that's stupid. Sorry, I'm shaking you. I only do it for YouTube videos, okay? Anyways, this episode is boring as fuck. Okay, my best friend who liked the Jonas Brothers more than me a little bit as a kid watched the last 5 minutes with me. It turned to me and said, I can't imagine how boring the rest of that was. It was so bad. I'm sweating. But I'm not turning on the fan because I want to provide a decent experience for you guys. Hold up, I gotta introduce the characters, sorry. Joe, Nick, and Kevin Jonas all play themselves and live in a revamped firehouse, I think. They have a friend named Stella, who was the mean girl in the Bratz movie, and their manager, and then this other guy. But they barely even matter in this. They only appear for a second. Just rewatched the clip for context. It's actually, I think, their dad and little brother. My fault. The episode has some sit-down spooky story scenes in a velvet-looking room with Kevin, and they're the only parts of the show that made me actually laugh. They're so corny, but they're great. And in between all of the boring bullshit, they actually made me giggle. So I'm gonna give it +3 points. 2 to Halloween and 1 to comedy. The 2 points are for the intro, and then the other one's for the rest of the segments throughout the episode. Their house is allegedly haunted by volunteer fireman William Smith. The goofy sound effects are not funny. I'm subtracting a point. No Halloween theme song. I guess I won't dock anything. I'll just add points to the show that do it well, okay? But what are these transitions? What the actual fuck? The ghost stole Nick Jonas. Oh no! They have to lure the ghost out with chili? Okay. I have in my notes at this point in the episode, I can't wait for this boring episode to end. -1 point. These boys can't act. It's emotionless. Even though Kevin isn't funny, his performance balances out the acting meter for me to not dock a point, I guess. There are too many not it jokes in this episode, along with Kevin always being the last one, always being the one it.
Not it. Not it. Not it. There's got to be a trick to that game. Not it. Not it. Oh, man. Not it. Not it. Oh, come on.
It's not funny. But guess what, guys? They all pranked Kevin with the ghost stuff. But guess what again, guys? These 2 guys, okay, those 2 guys I mentioned earlier, they layered their own ghost prank on top of theirs to scare all of them. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. There was a time they got stuck in, the music booth. The plot is a 0 out of 10, seeing as my discussion is over and there was barely anything to talk about. They spent the majority of the episode stuck in their sound booth and it was uneventful and unfunny. The acting is a 2 out of 10. The comedy is a 1 out of 10, shout out to Kevin JONAS. And the Halloween is a 5 out of 10, leaving this episode with an overall score of 2 out of 10.
I can tell that you came with that Disney flow. Ay, ain't nobody ever heard about your Disney show. Ay.
I never put what Bizaardvark is about, so I guess I gotta explain it off memory. Okay. There's these two girls, Paige and Frankie, they're best friends, and they have their own YouTube channel on this website that's not YouTube, it's called Vugle. VWGLE. They were chosen to work at an actual building for Vugle for their Vugle house. There's this beauty girl, Amelia, and then there's Dirk, who gets dared. And it's played by Jake Paul. And then there's this little kid who literally is nothing but like a weird pervert who's cheap as shit. That's his whole thing. Yeah, anyways, this is the third installment of the Bizaardvark community ripoff I talked about in the intro, except they're no longer at the Vugle HQ. See, this season came out after the Jake Paul Team 10 news bus incident.
A lot of the neighbors are complaining. They're very upset. No, why?
So Disney needed an excuse to kick off his character. So they made their own version of Team 10, the Vugle House. Yeah, a content creator house full of kids, ran by a large company. Ooh, weird as fuck! Weird as fuck. To replace Dirk's annoying nature, these two annoying-ass kids joined the cast. What's in the hair? I'm sorry for being mean to these actors, but I'm not being mean to them, okay? I'm being mean to Disney for their vision. As the channel went on, they kept creating the most annoying, unsympathetic characters. I don't want to watch kids be nuisances and never face repercussions, Disney. Anyways, Frankie, Paige, and Amelia audition for the house, get in, and move into the house, while Bernie, the little kid I mentioned earlier, manipulates his way in. I fucking hate this kid. He harasses every girl he comes across, but mainly and especially Amelia. They made the theme song short this season because the theme song heavily featured Jake Paul. Yeah, they just, he's not here anymore. He doesn't exist. The girls forced trick-or-treaters to listen to their third year of spooky stories to make up for the fact that the Vugle house didn't buy them candy, or the kids ate it all or something, I can't remember. Since this is the third time they are doing this bit workshop, as you will see soon, I am docking 3 points to the plot because it's just the same thing for the third time. Paige and Frankie's story is called Frankenstein. Okay, Monster High, you wish. Olivia Rodrigo Frankenstein monsters Frankie to be smarter for the wrestling coach / chemistry teacher. They recycle a bit from their second workshop episode where Bernie was too cheap to buy the spooky thing that they needed, so he bought an even more spooky thing because it was 99% off. Docking 2 points to the plot again. He bought zombie brains because the monster ones weren't on sale. I think. It's a fun concept, just horribly executed overall. Why does it sound like I have a vocal fry?
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer.
When switching everything back to normal, the coach turns into a monster and his brain gets put into his I'm sorry cake that he got the girls for thinking that they became monsters to be smarter. Lame. It's like that scene from Ant Farm that I'll talk about later. Those two Little Dirk story is about one of them getting Edward Scissorhands from Dr. Psycho and giving the other kid a haircut after doing the backpack kid dance. I'm not re-recording that line even though I stuttered bad. The cut hair comes to life!
Things got a little hairy. Because of all the hair. Oh yeah, that works.
Boo! Minus 2 points to the comedy. That car bit was a little funny. I'll give that point back.
These things have cars now. That can't be good.
The hair transforms into a giant monster. That's actually pretty sick, so I'll give them a Halloween point. Amelia's story's bad. It's called The Foam Pit of Terror. There's possibly / most definitely some cultural appropriation in Amelia's psychic costume. It's the same thing with a fortune teller costume that we'll see later, but honestly not as bad as the one that we're gonna see later. Still, I'm docking a point for the overall total, okay? Bernie gets sucked into the foam pit in the Vugle house that sucks him into a foam dimension, hence the need for a psychic, obviously. None of the meta jokes in the show have been funny, and this meta filming joke wasn't funny either, Bizaardvark.
This house was built on top of an interdimensional portal. Also, every room is missing a wall.
It was actually horrible. I actually hated it a lot. I actually audibly went, ugh. Anyways, Bernie becomes king of the foam, but comes back into the real world when a foam person informs him of a quarter in the way back to the real world. Guys, get it? Because he's too cheap. Oh my god. End of the episode. Oh, horse guy's here. You'll learn something a bit, guys. The plot gets a -4 out of 10. Yeah. Acting, 1. They were not on their A game this episode. Comedy, Same thing, 1. Madison and Olivia were really funny, mainly Madison, and Jake Paul isn't here to shut down any of the praises that I had for their performances. However, those kids are here now. Thank God I'm never going to watch this show, besides these 3 episodes, unless I decide to do something again and then they appear and I have to... Guys, I know you literally wish that you were me watching the sunset right now, like you could see the sunset right now. I wish that you guys were me to see it. It looks like a wave, but orange and in the sky. It looks like the ocean. Anyways, Halloween gets a 4 out of 10 because the costumes were actually okay this year. So, with minus 1 point for Amelia's crime, this episode gets a negative 0.5 out of 10 and is number 47 on the points list. Here's where I get to explaining the shows, guys. Best Friends Whenever was at the beginning of the weird era with Disney. They leaned into the "he's right behind me, isn't he?" style of writing and acting. And this is shown so clearly through the best friends that we have in this show, Sid and Shelby. Sid's parents are on an archaeological work trip for a few years or whatever, so she's living with Shelby and her twin little brothers who are in love with her. A lot of people would be afraid for a Best Friends Whenever in Bizaardvark Season 3 crossover episode with those unbearable damn kids. Me. I'm sorry, I'm being so mean. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. You know who else lives with Shelby, specifically in an RV in her front yard? Their mad scientist friend in his lab who invented a time travel laser that gives the girls time traveling powers if they hold hands and think about it hard enough. I'm not kidding. It's actually a really fun premise, okay? I watched a bit of the show because I wanted it to be good. But it sucks. It's unbearable. His name is Barry, and he has a dumb best friend named Naldo. I just call him the dumb friend because Naldo, reading that, I was just reminded that his name is Naldo. What? Everybody makes fun of like McKaylee, and it's spelled like Leigh. Naldo. Okay.
Okay, guys, I can understand the concept of it being short for Ronaldo, but Naldo is still fucking crazy. I thought I would, think I was dramatic in the future for going that hard over the name Naldo. What the fuck?
It is also important to note that they travel into their bodies in the time that they travel to. The nerd who lives and works in his RV in Shelby's backyard now lives and works in Shelby's garage, where he is working on getting his cat to like him by injecting mice with his concentrated wolf hormone. Yeah, cool. No, guys, that's cool. You wish that you were me watching this. It's hot pink. It's beautiful. Jean Jacket looks like she's right there. While he's doing that, he is also in charge of making Shelby a maze for the school carnival that she is in charge of holding. And we're going to give her +2 points for those carnival decorations. Yeah, we are. The maze is the horrors of science. So obviously, Shelby freaks out. She calls Sid to help spook up the maze, except she can't come up with anything. While thinking of spooky ideas, Sid knocks over the concentrated wolf hormone and her dog Diesel licks it right up. He gets big and wolf-sized and terrorizes the school. They literally just put him in front of a green screen, blacked out his face, put little beady eyes on him, and then scaled him like twice the size. Not twice the size, he was tiny, like human size. It's funny. As soon as I wrote in my notes, I just remembered that they could go back in time and stop the nerd from creating the maze. They read my mind. However, it was after Diesel spewed some goo on Sid, and then they time travel to before Diesel licked up the goo. Quite not what I had in mind. Sid still has no plan to spook up the maze. Oh, how so sad. While this is happening, the stupid and weirdly incestual plotline happened with Shelby's little twin brothers. They're dressed like Cabbage Patch dolls, with one as a girl and one as a guy. But they aren't having the Halloween that they wanted, so they put on some makeup to look scarier and go to the high school's haunted carnival. Inside the maze, they spook the nerd's dumb friend, Naldo! Bro, Naldo. And what I mean by this being incestual is because while this is going on, they're acting like a couple.
I'm sure there was someone who was deeply troubled by the mistakes of science. I am deeply troubled. I mourn the loss of my youth. Yes, I ruined that young couple's life.
They even have this weird scene during the credits that pissed me off.
I think having the big kid Halloween was a mistake, Chet. I feel like I've aged 50 years. I'm trying to do my Sudoku. Where are my cheaters? They're on your head. Every day with you. Ah! That was terrifying. I feel like a kid again.
Sid tells Shelby how she has no ideas for her maze, but she turns into a werewolf instead because of Diesel's spew goo. The nerd's dumbass forgot to add a proper exit to this goddamn maze because he's a narcissist that has to be right about everything. I know you think I'm lying and using therapy speak. He actually pissed me off. like bad. He gets scared by Where Sid. Thank God he's crying in a corner. Sid then wakes out of her trance because her and Shelby are in love.
I can't believe my sweet Sid is actually trying to hurt us.
It's really what happened. It's actually what happened. Shelby was just like, I love you. Oh, you're so perfect. I love you so much. You scared, like you made something scary without even trying. Because you love me so much and I love you. And then she woke up, she was like, and her eyes were in the shape of hearts, and it was the heart, like, with lesbian flag colors for her iris. That's exactly what happened. Since she's still a werewolf for a few hours until the goo wears off, she becomes the scary attraction in the maze. How fun. The plot got a 2 out of 10 for me. It wasn't very good. Acting, 1. Comedy, -1. Halloween, 9. This episode in total got 2.75 out of 10.
I've got a bitch that remind me of my cereal from Britain when I see her make Cheerio. Yeah, let's go. I can't ever go when I get a Jake Paul.
I thought the Team 10 news bus incident happened after season 1, but I was unfortunately wrong. So after the very boring cold open song called The Night Dream, that would have been a little good with a better instrumental, I was hit with a wave of nausea. I wrote in my notes, no, I don't want to watch more Jake Paul. What I wrote in my notes for the first Bizaardvark Halloween special was Jake Paul is a good Disney side character actor. That is not a compliment. I also wrote, all of their outfits are ugly, -3 points. The stories this episode set up Bernie's 99% off shit in the 3rd episode, whatever. Their excuse to tell their spooky stories is because the power went out. Paige and Frankie's story is called Dolloween. I wrote, quote, Bernie is a... I wrote, quote... I can't even say it. I wrote, quote, Bernie is still a weird little pervert. He is. Like, he genuinely is. He harasses Amelia's character in the story, who is the cashier of the spooky store. He buys 99% off haunted dolls as a gift for Paige and Frankie because he didn't have $10 for the 2 dolls that looked exactly like Paige and Frankie. The dolls do haunted doll stuff. They're pretty chill. +1 point to Halloween. However, the dolls are so unfunny, we gotta subtract a point from the comedy department. It was at this point I wrote in my notes, God, I can't wait for the shower I'm going to take after this. We get to some more power of love stuff that I just watched in the Wizards of Waverly episode I watched before this to kill the dolls. The girls then become dolls after eating doll burgers. Burgers they made out of the dolls, of course. Jake Paul's story is called Dirkula. You'll never guess, but his character Dirk becomes a vampire after buying a haunted coffin for 99% off with Bernie for a dare. I want it to end already! Jake is so painfully unfunny, -2 points. And he's also a horrible actor too, so -2 points as well. Dirk tries to turn all of his friends, all the characters except for the girls, because he's racist and doesn't like Asians, into vampires so they can properly hang out. Do you think Jake Paul would sue me for saying that? I want a defamation case, He tries to manipulate them with an ad.
Why not give the vampire lifestyle a try?
Just average Jake Paul content. Bernie's story is Burn Wolf. We're harassing Amelia at the shop and buying shit for 99% off again. He buys haunted cologne that turns you into a werewolf, and the costume is horrible, -3 points to Halloween. Wait, it's over? Like the whole episode? Okay. The plot gets a 0.5 out of 10 because it didn't get any negative plot points, and the plot of all the stories combined isn't as bad as the episodes I gave 0s to. The acting is a 0 out of 10. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Madison and Olivia. Guys, I'm so sorry. Baddies, please. I just couldn't relish in any of their performances without Jake ruining it. I'm sorry. Why do I have to apologize for a man's actions? The comedy is a 3 out of 10, okay? They managed to shine a little in this one. But Halloween gets a 0 out of 10, I'm sorry. Bad. The overall score is a 0.875 out of 10.
Yo, man, on the floor. If he ain't, let me know.
Guys, I might get mad. Guys, are you ready for this? I don't really think you're ready for this jelly. The girls choose each other's Halloween costumes. They are in lesbians with one another. The theme song isn't spooky. Why don't the shows in this era of Disney Channel not have a spooky theme version for any of their theme songs? Even in, like, Gen 3, too. I didn't have any of that for me. It's my favorite part. The friend who lives in the RV in their yard, who invented time travel, of course, invented teleportation as well. Even though this episode has been painfully unfunny up until this point, this part unironically killed me.
Where are the girls? They're somewhere between my pants and Stockholm. They're in New York?
I still giggle about it when I explain it to people. I don't know why. I don't know why it got me so hard. You might have made me want to punch my screen in the 2nd episode, but hey, you're pretty good in this one, bud. Hey, what was his name again? Barry.
Accidentally skipped over something important when I was reading the script. Hold on. Sid and Shelby use the teleportation device because they look online and they're like, bro, I wish we were at the New York Central Park Spectacular right now. And so they use the teleportation for that reason.
The girls enjoy the spectacular and join an escape room with What the fuck? Why is Girl Meets World here? Is this a fucking crossover episode? Okay, Girl Meets World was Disney Channel's first reboot of a prior and way more successful IP, Boy Meets World. Girl Meets World is about the main couple from its predecessor's daughter, Riley, who joins the lesbians in the escape room. One of Riley's schoolmates / crush / I think boyfriend at the moment, Lucas, is also there with them. It's insane how even with Girl Meets World's... My mommy's calling! Okay guys, I think I got some better lighting. How's it looking? Am I looking sexy? Guys, type 1 in the chat. Type 1 in the chat if you guys think I'm sexy. Yeah. It's insane how even with Girl Meets World's typical horrible writing and weird acting choices, they outshine Sid and Shelby like crazy. I have in my notes, Sid is annoying as fuck. And that's because she keeps breaking shit to look for clues and fear punches people. For some reason, the teleportation has a side effect of turning the girls into ghosts. For some reason, this is also affected by Riley and Lucas, and if they leave, they'll be ghosts forever. Fun, but how does that work? They don't explain it. They were just ghosts all of a sudden. So they possess Riley and Lucas, and then they teleport back to their bodies before they use the laser to teleport, and then break the laser. Girl Meets World was meeting the end of its run, so this crossover was used to boost best friends whenever. This show then makes a stupid fucking meta joke. The end card.
Guess what I found? A crossover episode of the Cuddle Bunnies and Chainsaw Chelsea. Our two favorite things coming together to make something even better.
I hate this episode. Why did they turn into ghosts? How did that happen? Where's the possible explanation? I hate the writing. I hate the acting. I hate the humor. I hate the crossover. I hate it. The plot gets a 0 because what the fuck was that? The acting gets a 1. I'm sorry to the cast, but that was horrible, guys. That was really bad. I did not laugh at all, except out of frustration. But most importantly, I laughed at Barry's New York line. So, 1 point for comedy. This episode is actually Halloween related, but it's bad, so 5 out of 10. This episode gets an overall 1.75 out of 10.
I said we Gucci like the shirts with the snakes on them. My ears are the dog deep down. Now I hate y'all. That will be a last name like an 8-ball.
Let's see if this first bit workshop is actually good. The start of this whole saga is caused by a spooky story circle to see whose idea gets a video on the homepage of Vugal dedicated to it, okay? The girls' story is about Atticus Hollander, a smart ghost that haunts the private school they go to, which they release through an Ouija board, and possesses Frankie. Fun. Frankie's lip syncing honestly saved Jake Paul's horrible delivery, so +1 point for acting. Same with Paige when she gets possessed, but not as much. Plus 0.5 points. Jake Paul's story is called Your Worst Night Dare. Get it? Because he's the dare guy. His thing is dare me, bro. He is dared to watch the channel of infinite horror, which turns into a world with no dares. Peep the horror. Bernie is the leader of the SWAT team for anti-dare. So dare to resist dare. -2 points in the acting department. Jake's acting is genuinely so bad. And -1 point to comedy for how unfunny this whole bit is. Amelia's story is a rip-off of that one Batman movie where the Joker poisons all the hygiene products by making people Joker themselves to death. But it's shampoo that turns you into an Amelia zombie. Cool, yay, fun. The girl's story is about to be the one that gets a video made of it for the Vugal homepage. Why is that so hard for me to say? But the painfully unfunny horse guy makes the homepage first. He posts it first. Comeback alert. Guys, you saw how I brought that back? That's expert storytelling. Yeah, I just mentioned it and said we'll get back to it later, and I got back to it. Anyways, I know the shtick of the girls always being better content creators and everybody else got old fast. Bernie gets his own story where he doesn't die because he died in everyone else's stories, except he actually dies because comedy. Plot 3. Acting gets a 5.5, thank God for Madison and Olivia. Comedy gets a 2. Fuck you, Jake Paul. Halloween gets a 7 out of 10 because I actually don't care. You know what? I don't care, and I don't have to justify giving it a 7. The overall score is 4.375 out of 10. Congrats, Bizaardvark.
How you doing, young lady? The feeling that you're getting really drives me crazy.
I Didn't Do It is about twins and their group of friends getting into trouble at the beginning of the episode, and then they spend the rest of the episode explaining how they didn't do it. Yeah, I bet this got annoying fast. Yeah. I can't even imagine. I watched a bit of this show when it first came out because I loved Olivia Holt, and I was so happy to see her land a leading role on her own show, yet the writers did her and everyone in the show so dirty by making the majority of them unlikable, seeing as they always get into mischief, sometimes with the main twins hurting their friends, but they end up forgiving them because they have plot armor. I I cannot tell you a single thing that happened in that show, by the way. Not even little things. I only remember the theme song. I only know that because they played that. They didn't have a trailer for this show from my memory on the Disney Channel. They just played the theme song over and over again until it premiered. I'm pretty sure I only watched I think less than 8 episodes of this show, maybe even less than 5. Anyways, there's the leader twin, Lindy, one-dimensional straight man, Ricky Weaver, Logan. He's just Disney Channel Topher from Outer Banks without the anger and drugs. Fashion girl Jasmine, geek boy Garrett, and weird girl Delia. Because we all love stereotypes in our sitcoms, right? Yeah, guys, we all love the stereotypical people in a sitcom that never change. We love that, right? Why are the ratings going down? Why is no one watching our shows? The episode starts with Delia yelling at Logan to crawl into the giant pumpkin and scoop out its guts, only to be pulled in and jumped by Lindy, with Delia running off giggling. Delia looks off all weird while yelling at him, and it looks like she's reading from a cue card on SNL. We start with the context from a few days ago when the fire alarm went off and Lindy evacuated without Logan in half asleep panic, while Logan just turned off the fire alarm. It was actually kind of funny, his little thing. He was acting it out and playing it up and hyping it, and he was like, my dear sister Lindy, where are you? Logan is pissed because she left with all of her important belongings except for him. He's not an important belonging. No, I get being mad. If I had a twin and they did that shit, ooh! Lindy tries genuinely apologizing, but Logan overreacts, so she'll bend over backwards for him. Quote, I'm driving this guilt-mobile as far as it can go. And he says this with a steering wheel that she got for him. He's talking about it with Garrett. Sorry guys, I have a weird frog stuck in my throat. Geez, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what was that, you guys. Delia is trying to carve a giant pumpkin for
Weenfest.
What was the need for that? Jasmine is petty with her ex-boyfriend because he has a gorgeous new girlfriend for the dance contest on Saturday. So, Jasmine forces Garrett, the geek, to be her dance partner by saying she'll tell him who has a crush on him at school. And I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of fun. I believe people would have crushes on him at school. I believe it. Jasmine is petty with her ex-boyfriend. Oh, I already said that. Delia gets Garrett to spill the beans on Logan's petty torture of his sister. She gets back at him by having him scoop out all the pumpkin guts of her pumpkin at the
Weenfest.
We're not at the intro scene yet. Kim comes over wearing a traditional sari because she's sorry. I just recorded 3 episodes and it didn't save. Y'all mind if I chill a bit real quick? Thanks. Garrett mishears Jasmine and thinks that she says meet him in the corn maze, and then he gets stuck in the corn maze and starts rolling around because he's a little disco ball. Logan guilt trips Lindy after she wears her apologies traditional sari. I'm pretty sure I docked some points for that in my head, but just no points were docked. Anywhoozle. He guilt trips Lindy into cutting out the pumpkin for him, and then he finds Jasmine struggling at the dance. Her ex-boyfriend's making fun of her, so he saves the day and dances with her instead, and they flirt after whatever. Delia comes and finds Lindy in there and is like, this motherfucker. I'm going to tell her what I got Garrett to tell me what Ricky Weaver told him. When the day turns gold. But Delia tells Lindy, and then Lindy hides in the pumpkin. We get the intro scene, the SNL look off from Delia, and then she beats her ass, and then everything turns out good in the end, and that's the end of the episode. Anyways, the plot, 3. The acting, 2. The comedy, 1. Halloween, 5. Total, 2.75 out of 10.
No need to ask, it's a smooth operator. Smooth.
Wizards of Waverly Place is about a family of wizards, the Russos, who live on Waverly Place, New York, above their family subway shop. There's their wizard dad, their hot bombshell, bow chicka wow wow non-wizard mom, their wizard eldest son Justin, their only witch daughter Alex, and their youngest wizard son Max. Alex's childhood best friend Harper has no idea they're all wizards, but at this point, the 4th season, she of course knows that they're wizards. A new set this season is their apartment complex, specifically the elevator. Maybe it's just for this episode, I don't know. I watched the first 3.5 seasons of this show and just watched that on repeat. And I barely remember it, but the movie fucks. Okay, the movie fucks hard. Hardcore rough. Alex and Harper have beef with a teacher of theirs that live in that same complex. Since it's ghoul season, the 13th floor full of creatures has been revealed to the public, and they're curious. Who are these creatures? Where did they come from? When a zombie escapes through the elevator, the bellhop Dexter takes care of it, but the zombie's already been seen. The audience member losing their shit when Harper waves bye to the zombie earns 1 point.
Now, no offense, but you...
While this is going on, Alex's ex-boyfriend/situationship at the time, Mason, a werewolf, stalks her to her apartment complex and camps out in one of the elevators, so she has no choice but to talk to him about their relationship status. Cool. And get this, he mashes all of the buttons in the elevator so she can't leave and accidentally clicks the 13th floor, allowing the creatures to hop on and get out on whatever floor they want to. When the tenants wonder what's going on the 13th floor, they go to investigate. Alex has to help excuse it as Dexter's surprise special haunted house for the tenants. That sentence was so hard to say. The teacher from earlier arrives to do his own investigation for himself before his square dancing competition, of course. But he gets binted. Pogo's binted. Y'all remember that?
How do you do, fellow kids?
The teacher from... he gets bitten by the zombie guy. That's what I was trying to say. He escapes the girl's peripherals and heads to the square dancing competition because even as a zombie, he'd never miss it. So funny, guys. The square dancing host is the dad from Dog with a Block, and he fucking kills it, okay?
Herschel! Are you okay? You don't look so good!
He's the funniest part of this episode, and I'm glad he got his own show. What? Y'all are gonna be mad at me for saying that? The invisible people? I'm acting like a conservative right now. What? You invisible person that I made up that does not exist and does not have these opinions? You're gonna be mad at me? But this whole bit is stupid and not Halloween at all. I'm just annoyed. I'm just really annoyed, guys. What would you guys do if I started talking like this? Ned Fulmer core.
Hi.
3 years ago, I publicly cheated on my wife, Ariel, with a producer. And, it was really hard to deal with. At the end of it all, we get another fucking elevator bit, guys. Minus 5 points from the comedy. I don't care. You guys will see why I'm so mad at this in the future, because the bit that this is like a callback to, it pissed me off already, and this just pissed me off even more.
Okay, come on, everybody. We gotta get out of here.
In the B-plot, this guy's got the most powerful wand in the wizard world stolen from him and replaced with a fake. They use a wand locator app and find it on the 13th floor. This sets up something for, I think, future episodes, but it doesn't get resolved here. So, the plot gets a 6. It was good and decently executed, it just wasn't my cup of tea, but that is unfair to include in my points, in my opinion, okay? I'm not looking at this as if it's not my thing, I'm looking at it if it's good. Even if I don't like that thing, is it done well? Here, yes. Decently. And it's the same with the acting. 6 out of 10. Comedy is a 3. Halloween is a 6. The square dancing thing, that was just confusing. Everything else was alright. There was creatures. Overall, this episode gets a 5.25 out of 10. Girl Meets World, as I said in Best Friends Whenever, was the first big Disney spin-off, with this one being for the 90s sitcom Boy Meets World. I only watched a bit of that, like the first season, I think 2, maybe 1.5 seasons, and I ended up I got mad, I rage quit, because Girl Meets World was not as good as Boy Meets World, and it pissed me off. They didn't set anything up in Girl Meets World for any type of like bits or physical comedy. It was all just relying on the dialogue, and the dialogue was horrible. Anyways, in the former show, we followed Corey Matthews, as well as his then-girlfriend Topanga, navigate the world via lessons guided by their teacher. In Girl Meets World, we followed their daughter Riley and her best friend Maya as they navigate the world via lessons guided by their teacher, Corey Matthews. Interesting, guys, right? They really switched it up this time. I feel like I have a horrible vocal fry right now, and I think I'm just having to come to terms with the fact that I just have a deep voice. But if I talk a little bit higher, I don't really like the way that I sound here. It doesn't sound nice to me. And even when I get lower, it still has a vocal fry. And I think I just have to deal with that. I just have to deal with the fact that everybody else is just chronically online, and that's why they all have the vocal fry. It's not my fault that I happen to have it because I live here. It's everybody else's fault because they spend too much time on their phone. Yeah. No. Yeah. Riley also has a little brother, Augie, who is our narrator throughout these stories. In my notes for episode 1, I said he's like a meta Kevin Jonas. Riley and Maya have 2 other friends, and only 2. Technically 3 if you count one of their partners. There's Lucas the cowboy, and Farkle, the definitely not autistic genius, and his girlfriend, who's a nerd. They're both nerds. Geeks, one would say. Can we bring that back? I'm a geek, okay? I am a geek. Context, they're in high school now, yet Corey is still their teacher. Like Boy Meets World. Do you get it? Do Do you get it? Maya and Riley, mainly Riley, decide they are too old for Halloween. They are, as the kids say, reheating Shake It Up's nachos. We'll get to that. They tell Corey and say that Halloween's not a big deal. Neither is them deciding it's not a big deal. But he argues that there is no such thing as not a big deal. Every decision you make and don't make has an effect. Cue chaos theory. Essentially a more chaotic cause and effect, hence chaos. And yes, we are getting a what if they never met episode. I hate this type of shit. The kids are not surprised by Augie's fourth wall breaking narration.
Welcome to another Halloween Scary Time Theater.
This fucked me up. Yeah, it especially fucked me up, minus 2 points of the plot, and it affected me later when we find out that Augie in this timeline never exists. He never existed. He's just a ghost. So how does this work? What does that imply here? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into if Riley and Maya were never friends. Of course, they still knew each other at school, with Maya having her do her homework, but only to give her C's, so she's perfectly unimportant. They balance each other out, so now Riley is a walking cartoon and Maya is Disney emo.
Don't look me in the eyes. Don't skip ahead.
But I'm too cool. Just wait until we get Disney goth, guys. Corey is a bubbly cartoon nerdy father and teacher, which doesn't make any sense because of Boy Meets World. My guy is not a bow tie and sweater vest wearing nerd. Are you fucking joking? He also doesn't teach any life lessons because Riley doesn't need them. Maya did, and she needed them because Maya taught her different things about life. Farkle is the same, yet somehow more annoying. He says the only Halloween-related thing in this plotline, which I can't say he's annoying for. Thank you, I guess, Farkle. No one told him to shut up in this timeline like Maya usually would. But now Maya doesn't want to draw attention, so she doesn't say anything. She just sits in silence. Lucas is a bad boy cowboy, yeah! One of my favorite parts about this show is Lucas's alleged dark side. He was an apparent bad boy back in Texas. Sure. What'd he do? Tip a few cows? We see Lucas tell Riley to stick up for herself against Maya's bullying. Oh my god. So Riley and Lucas's relationship still exists in some form, but that is still because of Maya. Okay? And also, Maya isn't there to put him in his place like she usually is and make him be like, you're not a bad boy cowboy. The writers have been trying to convince us that Riley is the guru of the show only to prove that it's Maya. Technically, without Riley, Maya wouldn't be outspoken like we see here. But then everyone around Maya wouldn't be their true selves. Again, without Maya bullying Riley and getting her to do her homework for her and all that shit, Lucas wouldn't have to say that to Riley in the first place. It all comes back to Maya. So Augie was never born. Crazy. To fix the space-time continuum and shit, Augie puts a note from Riley in Maya's pocket, telling her to meet her at Riley's iconic bay window, the same window Maya snuck in all those years ago when they first met to restore the time rep. The grab and hello were cute.
Hello.
But not cute enough to get some points. This all would be fun if the only Halloween-related thing in this episode wasn't Augie literally dying. Minus 3 points. After their talk where Maya told her that she doesn't want to be friends or be important, and after Lucas told her to stick up for herself, Riley gave Maya a B-worthy assignment, causing Corey to call upon Maya in front of the class, thus making her important. Maya tells Riley she's gonna beat her ass later. For the people who don't believe in Maya's supremacy, Corey and Riley talk about actual shit related to life instead of academics and whimsy, a conversation which is brought upon by Riley's conversation with Maya. This causes Corey to lamely write "secret of life" on a chalkboard, look at it and say, people seem to change people. Believe what you want, I guess. Anyways, Riley and Maya confront each other, they connect emotionally and physically, and everything's back to normal, whatever. Speed round! Plot 1, acting 2, comedy 1, Halloween 1, total 1.
Set a timer for 12 minutes.
Liv and Maddie is an almost mockumentary-like show about two twins named like the title, played by a singular person, Dove Cameron. There are talking heads of each character saying what they can't in the scene, and makes the episodes funny when the main jokes are lacking. Maddie is a basketball player in her hometown Stevens Point, Wisconsin, while Liv is a famous singing actress known from her show, a Glee ripoff, Sing It Loud, and later Voltage, who lived in LA for 4 or so years before moving back to Stevens Point. They have two brothers, the older nerd Joey and the younger meddling kid Parker, who's also pretty smart, but not like nerd smart, you know what I mean? They have two lovely parents, their dad, who is the coach of Maddie's basketball team, and their mom, who is my favorite parent of theirs. Their family's last name is Rooney, therefore every episode is titled blank a Rooney. So it's like Community naming their episodes like classes because it's a community college, except it gets less creative as time goes on. Maddie has a best friend named Willow who has a crush on Joey and is low-key weird about it, and Maddie has a boyfriend slash situationship slash friends to lovers, Diggy. Absolutely rancid name. Diggy? What is that short for? Digward? Digwad? But there's no need to remember those two characters for this episode, okay? Because remember what I said about Wisconsin? You see how this is the 4th season? Let me tell you something about Disney, okay? From my recollection, if a show goes past a certain amount of seasons, especially if it's being filmed in California, then you have to pay all of the main cast extra. Okay? A lot extra because it's been going on for a while, okay? They need their dues. But to prevent that, Disney would fuck up the last season so bad, changing the setting, most likely changing a beloved theme song to make it look like shit and sound like shit. Also, they don't have to pay the actors extra. For example, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. What did they do to not pay them extra, but still continue to make money? The Sweet Life on Deck. Yeah, just put them on a cruise ship. Allegedly. I think That's So Raven and Raven's Home were like the only shows to surpass that. I know Raven's Home had 6 seasons. That's crazy for Disney. That's insane. Congrats. I know they made a lot of money. But anyways, they changed Liv and Maddie's setting to Aunt Dina's house in LA. The aunt Liv stayed with while filming Sing Alone, with everyone except the father moving with them. They fuck up the iconically cute theme song. It's so ugly. They lab rats my show, goddammit. We start with the boys' seaside nerd school where I wrote in my notes, where the fuck are we? Seeing this after binging 3 Liv and Maddie episodes prior fucked me up. Where are we? It just opens up and we're on the beach. A school on the beach. No, that exists in California. If it exists, it hasn't been brought to my desk. And I need it brought to my desk immediately. Immediately! The school is lame and out of character because this school full of nerds don't do Halloween. What? Isn't that like their thing? To dress up? What? I mean, I understand not liking Parker's foot costume, but Joey's falcon costume? Ugh, that's his best costume out of all 4 episodes. No spoilers. Whatever, the boys' goal is to get their friends and peers to enjoy Halloween and enjoy spooky pranks. The only thing I have in my notes about the prank is over, this episode sucks. They do a stupid teleportation gone wrong prank on them, and they love it. In the meantime, we have the only decent plot this episode. The Rooney's little cousin wants to go to Demon Dungeon, a restaurant in LA, where they torture you, and Liv takes her there. I literally wrote, this poor girl is pissing me off. No shade to this girl, but they always give her the most annoying characters in every show that she's on. However, I would have died to be Ruby's friend if we were in elementary school together. I had a girl that I wanted to be friends with so bad in the 3rd grade. Her name is Ruby, I believe, as well. Or that was a girl from something else. I think her name started with an R. But I remember I was gifted a shirt and a pair of leggings that were an outfit that she wore one time that I was like, oh, that is so 2010s. Fucking, no, it was 2009. 2010's Justice realness. And I happened to wear it on the same day that she wore hers. And I was like, oh my god, we're matching. I wanted to play Monster High with them that day in the park. They had me be Deuce. And they told me that no one likes Deuce. I watched Monster High that night. Deuce is the most popular guy. And his girlfriend's fucking Cleo Denial. Okay! That happened in 3rd grade. When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay. Because I could draw. Also, I'm allowed to point out annoying characters because I don't see it as a bad thing. And I was bullied for being annoying as a kid, if you couldn't tell by that. But now I have a channel, and anyone who is also annoying can watch it. And if you don't like it and you think I'm annoying, get the fuck out of here! No one cares about what you think! Just as much as people don't care about what I have to think. Anyways, this specific annoyance is not kid annoyance, it's Disney kid annoying. In my head, these characters are in the same vein as bullies in PSAs. Unrealistic, but I understand what they were going for. Their waiter at the Demon Dungeon is one of Liv's co-stars from her old show, Voltage. He played her character's nemesis, so when Liv decided to leave the show, there was no need for him anymore. Oh, gagged. No, that kind of gagged me a little bit. I was like, oh! I went, oh! Ooh. This makes Liv believe that the not real torture at the restaurant is actually their waiter trying to torture her as an act of revenge. I think I like this plot because I prefer Dove Cameron's comedic timing and quirks as Liv more than I do Maddie. Her bubbly gimmick is perfect for me. She's like Lydia Martin if she were on the Disney Channel, if that makes sense. However, the nude lip instead of a pinky nude for Liv Rooney is a crime. -1 point to the total overall. I don't give a shit. The C plot is fucking stupid to me. I love Maddie's outfit, let me make that clear. I love it. The cheap wig adds another layer of cunt to me. Sorry, of current. Aunt Dina goes to the Mystic Crystal Convention, as she does every year, seeing as the only time it exists is on Halloween night. But not before warning Maddie about the beachside spider sprayer. It's just a trick-or-treater who likes the trick part of it all, and sprays people's houses with silly string dressed as a spider. This keeps Maddie on high alert for the rest of the night. The treater she finally thinks is the sprayer gets Joey and Parker's dirty clothes poured on them. It is revealed to not be the beachside spider sprayer, but Aunt Dina. She has lied to her daughter every year about not being able to trick-or-treat with her or do whatever she wants on Halloween because she is an embarrassed adult trick-or-treater. Fun! That's so fun. I gave the plot a 1 out of 10, the one being for Liv's plot. Boring as fuck, not funny, horribly acted. Dove is like the only good part. Actually, the mom was good this episode, as she is every episode, I do have to say. Her name's Karen, my favorite Karen.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Kids love candy. Although, an apple a day keeps the doctor... Mom, seriously, stop.
Yeah, speaking of, the acting and comedy both get a 2. Both points in each category going to Dove Cameron and Callie Rocha, who plays the mom. Rocha. Halloween was a 6 out of 10, okay? I liked the Demon Dungeon set, and even though everything was Halloween related, it was just boring as fuck. The overall total, including the dock point due to the shameful lipstick choice, is a 1.75 out of 10. You know? Like
Boba tea,
gnarly.
Tesla,
Gnarly.
fried chicken,
Gnarly.
partying in the Hollywood Hills.
Justin is in charge of the sandwich shop's yearly haunted house, with the theme being peer pressure, the scariest thing of them all. The HOA of Waverly Place stops by to say he will ban the Russos from doing a haunted house again if it isn't scary this year. Alex and Harper, who knows about wizards now, recruit creatures from the undead haunted house, a haunted house full of actual ghosts and ghouls. +2 points for an actual haunted house, and +1 point for literal creatures. This shit is so boring. None of this is funny. Max Werewolf Jork in it. Oh my god. I actually got stuck saying Jork. I couldn't stop. Max Werewolf Jork was terrible.
You know what'll cheer everybody up?
One of the creatures does his Airhead commercial horrific thing with his head that scares the HOA so bad that he bans them from ever doing a haunted house again. That's the end of the episode. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Plot gets a 1 out of 10. I was so uninterested and bored. 2 paragraphs was all that happened in this episode. I rewatched the episode to see if there was anything else to really add. No, nothing really. At all. The acting gets a 4. It could have been better. Sorry. Comedy gets a 2, pretty much not funny at all. Halloween, however, gets a 10 out of 10! Very disappointed in this wasted potential. All the Halloween stuff is the only reason why I put it above Get Along Little Zombie, and also because of that freak with the giant head. In total, this episode got a 4.25 out of 10.
사랑게이토 사랑게 tiro kege girl, you're my favorite.
Good Luck Charlie is about a middle-class white suburban American family, the Duncans, living in Denver, Colorado. Phonetically speaking, Denver, Colorado is the most American-sounding city. Denver, Colorado. We follow the eldest daughter, Teddy, as she navigates being a teenager through video diaries dedicated to her baby sister, Charlie. Genius idea, by the way. I was so jealous of this when my youngest brother was born and I didn't do it. I was actually so ashamed. There's also the oldest of all the kids and the dumb one, PJ, and the troublemaker, the one older than Charlie yet younger than Teddy, Gabe. So it's boy, girl, boy, girl. And of course their iconic mother, Amy, and their hot, iconic dad, Bob. I don't want to talk about Amy's actress because I'm tired of thinking about genocide and doll-denying freaks who can call themselves political activists just because they talk too loud and too much. So I don't want to talk about her. Especially because she's not important. Like, she's really not important. She made that one kids show, and that was it. Truly, the most important thing that she's done in her life was play Amy Duncan. So Amy Duncan separating the art from the artist. Yeah, yeah. Stay mad. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm acting like the people who separate the art from the artist from like horrible, vile people. And they're like, stay mad, stay mad. So free Palestine, and trans people will not be silent or silenced until I am dead and reincarnated as a fucking cat. There's also PJ's BFF Emmett, Teddy's BFF Ivy, Teddy's boyfriend Spencer, who she took back after he cheated on her, and Gabe's arch nemesis, their neighbor, Mrs. Dabney. This show was actually done good by Disney, and they didn't really change much up in season 4, just mainly with, I guess, PJ just going to college and doing all of that stuff, I guess. This episode opens with everyone shitting on Amy's cooking.
Because women suck at cooking, even though they only belong in the kitchen.
Well, sucks for them because they're not the ones with a segment dedicated to them on Good Morning Denver for their pumpkin carving skills. Yeah, it's called Duncan's Pumpkins, like pumpkins. Pumpkins. 1 point to comedy for
which will highlight my pumpkin carving prowess.
God, is she an all-around piece of shit person, but God, is she a store. Charlie is forced to dress like a lion even though she doesn't want to. Plus 1 point for PJ's line delivery here.
Toby is going to be a lion, and Charlie is TBD. That better not spell lion.
I think it does.
Teddy's drama club needs money for their performance of Sound of Music. Since Teddy is the captain, she decides they're going to go Halloween caroling. Yeah, Halloween versions of Christmas carols. Minus 2 points to Halloween. The stereotypical nerdy guy confesses to Teddy that he's afraid he's gonna get bullied like he does every year on Halloween. Lucky for him, he is only treated as a pariah after falling into a ditch while failing to raise money via caroling. Teddy is a piece of shit for profiting off of this. They made $300, which... Hey, but still she's a piece of shit. I wrote in my notes, this shit is pissing me off. Minus 3 points to Halloween. I hate people that can't let Halloween have its own time of year. Ooh! I hate the people who are like, Christmas starts in December because December, November, October, September. Yeah. Fuck you. September and October are Halloween and fall months. And November. December only gets 1 month. Please! It's time that the tides start changing, okay? I'm sweating. My hair is sweating so bad. I'm gonna put my hair up and I don't care if it looks bad. Please ignore the bangs I'm trying to grow out. Okay, I cut them too short. I like the micro bangs in the middle and I like these pieces to fall, but they're in the growing process. They're in the awkward stage. They're growing out of it and I just put water on myself, okay? While all this is going on, Amy hired a guy to carve all of the pumpkins for Good Morning Denver for her. Fun. After they end up rotting before the camera crew arrives, Amy takes Teddy's call for help as an opportunity, playing the situation up like the nerd is dying. Fun. My bangs are sweaty. Guys, you have to see my forehead. It's not that big. It's like a 4.5 head, but everyone always would say I have the biggest fucking forehead. Let's just deal with this. At home, Bob is handing out candy with Charlie. It's cute. Plus 1 point to comedy for that one part.
Trick or treat! I did it!
While all this is going down, Gabe stays at PJ's apartment and watches scary movies because, quote, nothing scares him anymore. PJ asks his neighbor to pretend to be a Karen who pretends to kidnap PJ because he didn't have any Halloween candy for her son. Why? To successfully scare Gabe. It worked. Fun! Cool! Anyways, the plot gets a 3. Don't know why. Acting gets an 8. Even in the darkest of times, they're still so good. Even the side characters, dude! It's the same with the comedy.
How about a chess tournament? Maybe nobody heard me. How about a chess tournament? Okay, you did hear me.
Halloween gets negative 2 out of 10. Don't even talk to me right now. This episode's total is still a 4.25 out of 10. Not bad.
Promiscuous girl, whatever you are, I'm all in love.
The Sweet Life on Deck is that spin-off of the show I talked about earlier, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, that Disney Channel made so they wouldn't have to pay their actors an insane amount of money. The original show is about a pair of twins, Cody, the smart nerdy one, and Zack, the dumb boyish one, who live at a hotel where their mother works. The hotel is called the Tipton, a spin-off of the Hilton, and Mr. Tipton's daughter, London Tipton, a spin-off of Paris Hilton, lives there as well. The manager of the hotel is the iconic Mr. Mosby. There are also employees, Maddie, Esteban, and Arwen, just a fun cast of characters all around. In this show, they are on a Tipton cruise ship without Maddie, but with everyone else. We also have some new characters like the other Maddie, but played by Debbie Ryan, and Poorer, and is also Cody's girlfriend, Bailey. And this annoying, gross guy that made me hate this show. Boomer from Pair of Kings was also on it, but then he left to be on Pair of Kings. Every once in a while, they dock in different countries and different states, and you guys can just guess how offensive they were. In this one, they dock in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Cody and that one guy won't stop making the word gumbo annoying. How dare you? Mr. Mosby gives a tour of a sunken ship, which they can see in 4K, by the way, called The Wreck of the Jessie Belle. Get it? Because it sounds like Jezebel. Ha ha! The captain was accused of sinking the ship. The ghost captain then takes over Zack's computer and job on the ship. London and Bailey catch Mosby playing the piano in secret, but of course, there's a traumatizing backstory surrounding his stage fright. His pants split in front of everyone while performing, exposing his clowny face underpants. That'll do it! The girls dupe him into performing in front of his employees, and he passes out. Mr. Mosby is getting ready for the Historical Society's costume party, hence the 4K showcasing of the Jessie Belle. London and Bailey tell him that they booked a famous pianist, which they didn't. It's all an elaborate scheme to get Mosby to save the day with his pianist skills. He devours, of course. They be trying to copy. Back to the boys, Zack sets up cameras to watch him, Cody, and that guy sleep, in case the ghost decides to do something. What they record is painfully unfunny, but they also record all three of them shooting awake and saying, "Innocent." The ghost moved all their shit too. He's pretty active.
Might be because they're in New Orleans.
Wow! Sorry guys, it's hot. Like, I'm trying to have fun right now, but it's hot. It's only 83 degrees, but I know it's 90 in here. Like, I know for a fact it's 90. Anyways, the boys Ghostbusters it up. It's kind of cool or whatever. Zack sees the ghost captain, but only he can see him. He tells Zack that he needs his compass from the wreck. Zack scubas down there to get it, and he's not dead. Are they that, is it that close? Are they submerged? No, they're not, because you can see the skyline, and then you can see right there looking in, even though it's not at the right angle. Crazy. Maybe there's a camera all the way down there. Who knows? The expedition reveals that the ghost captain's right-hand man sabotaged his compass, which caused the crash in the first place. He is now absolved of all of his ghost duties and can go off into his ghostly heavenly plane or whatever. Anyways, the plot gets a 6. It was alright. It wasn't bad. And it's the same with the acting. However, the comedy gets a 4. It's not very good, but Mosby and London save it. They really do. Halloween, however, gets a 3 out of 10. They could have done a lot more to make this cruise ship more Halloween, as well with everything else.
So my points list is kind of fucked, but we're gonna act like everything's okay. Pretend that I gave Halloween a 0 because it technically had nothing to do with Halloween, and I just completely forgot about that. Pretend that I did that, though. Pretend that the points total is different, though, okay?
But this episode gets a 4.75 out of 10 in total.
Now the day bleeds. I'm like, all right, y'all. That means free drinks.
Raven's Home was Disney's next spin-off sitcom of their previous 2000s work, That's So Raven, about a girl navigating the world with her psychic visions of the future. In Raven's Home, we still follow Raven and her BFF, Chelsea, who have moved in together after both of their divorces. But more importantly, we follow Raven's twins, Booker and Nia. Booker has inherited the gift of visions. There's also Nia's friend Tess, who's just there, and Chelsea's son, who I can't remember the name of. Sorry, my fault. Can I say something? No! I hate Tess. It's not her fault. Just from what I've seen of the few episodes I've seen, including these ones, she's just there. In the cold open, she just pops up. I'm not kidding.
You don't look as scareable to me. No, you don't. We gotcha!
This is the Raven's Home theme song.
I wrote in my notes, this is just her character from what I remember. She's just there.
I love Halloween.
And they do bits like that multiple times this episode to remind you that she's there.
All right, bye!
Okay. The new neighbor who Chelsea has a crush on is doing things that makes the kids think that he's a vampire.
Now the day bleeds.
Iggy. This plotline's gonna come back in a different episode for a different show. Just you wait. He makes weird pauses mid-sentence, they catch him covered in a weird red substance, and they catch him dragging what looks like a body bag. But most importantly, Booker has a vision of him dragging Chelsea's unconscious body. It's scary. The vampire's actually a normal neighbor. He's an EMT, and that vision was him doing a demonstration and her playing like she's dead. 2 points to Halloween for fun costumes, 0.5 points for each kid, okay? However, the neighbor disappears. Oh my god, he's a vampire. Meanwhile, Raven is an Uber driver, and she uses a haunted rental car. It's magic. It can read passengers' minds, yeah. It also holds an annoying passenger hostage. That dude was pissing me off. But he thinks the ride was an attraction, tells his followers, and gives Raven 5 stars. She returns the car and gets her compensation. Good. The plot gets a 5 for me. It was a little too cliche, but it was fun.
The acting was also a 5. I understand that these are kids, but did Disney not have an on-set coach or something? Or is this how they wanted the lines to be delivered?
Chelsea wasn't all that good either, okay? Raven was like the only good actor in this. The comedy gets a 2. Again, a little too cliche, but the rest wasn't funny. So, Halloween gets a 5. Calling something haunted does not make it Halloween, and that's a problem that we're going to be seeing a lot. Overall, this episode gets a 4.25 out of 10. A lot of those today. A lot of those.
Oh, I'm curious, yeah.
Austin and Ally is a show that fucks so hard and it's so good, and Better Together is the best song. I don't give a fuck. That unironically was one of my only cry songs. I'm not joking. It was that and the song that Steve dances with, how am I forgetting her name? Peggy. Anyways, Austin and Ally is a show about 2 teenagers, Austin and Ally, who are famous musicians. They meet when Austin somehow accidentally steals an entire song that Ally wrote that he heard one time when he snuck into her little office. Very fun way to meet. The show's not like that. The rest of the show's actually pretty fucking good when it comes to their relationship. He becomes Disney Channel's Justin Bieber, Austin Monica Moon. Or just Austin Moon if you're not a real fan. I remember when everyone was freaking out about Eras Tour tickets and how expensive they were, and I was like, you know, I'd pay that amount of money if Ross Lynch went on tour as Austin Moon and performed every song from Austin and Ally. If I could hear Better Together live, I put that thought in my head again.
Cause we're better together, hey.
Ally becomes his writer because she has stage fright, but ends up overcoming it for her solo career by the 4th season. The other main cast consists of their best friends. Austin's is Des, and Ally's is Trish. Ally's dad owned a music store at the Miami Mall, which is filmed at the Irvine Spectrum in Irvine, California. Whenever I go there to window shop and pretend like I can afford something outside of Yogurtland and a discounted CD from Barnes & Noble, I like to feel like I've traveled across the country to Miami. When I saw those lion fountains for the first time. In season 4, Austin and Ally turn it into the A&A Music Factory. They're together. Oh my god! Trish, Ally's manager, booked her a gig at the hottest party in New York, the Central Park Spooktacular. Okay, we meet them at the Spooktacular, where they are dressed as the ingredients for a BLT, except Des dresses as a lemon instead of lettuce. Let's see if we meet either Best Friends Whenever or Girl Meets World, because there's 2 shows that we can meet, okay, and they're at the Spooktacular. It's probably just like a little crossover thing. They want to join the Spooky Story contest or something, so they Bizaardvark. Austin's is a UFO story. All 4 of them play different characters in this story, and Des is the only funny one. One of them is an alien. It was Ally. Plus 2 points for Ally's crazy alien face. It was funny as fuck. Once Austin finishes his story, they all notice the 2 Michael Jacksons staring at them, and it's Ernie and Judy, Zendaya's spy and robot siblings from Casey Undercover. They're not fans. Ernie's just hungry for bacon. They move into a creepy room that's perfect for storytelling.
This creepy room is perfect for storytelling.
I don't know why that line killed me as much as it did, but it still makes me giggle whenever I think about it. Now, Des keeps telling fairy tale stories, and it's not really funny at all. Ally's story is about ChatGPT, aka Eerie, like Siri. Get it? Get it, guys? ChatGPT falls in love with Ally and is jealous of Trish being her BFF. ChatGPT possesses all of the electronics and appliances at the music factory and sends a text message from Ally's phone to Trish to try to kill her with all of it. Fun. It's uncomfortable and dystopian how realistic the ChatGPT dialogue is. It genuinely is. It freaked me out a little bit. I had to pause for a second and get some ice cream. ChatGPT possesses Ally, and now Ally is trapped in her own phone. I remember seeing that visual when I was a kid and being like, bro, literally, how did they freaking do that, bro? After the story, the 4 find Ernie and Judy again, watching them through a painting in the wall. -1 point for Ernie's scream. It was really bad. Anyways, Trish's story is about a hippie farmer with a spooky chicken named Pandora, like the box. Des's character reaches inside its cage, and the chicken bites him. Des then turns into a were-chicken, which has impreg at some point. Hello? Plus 2 points for the costume, though. That were-chicken costume's fun. After all of that, they end up missing the contest. Whatever. I'm tired of these fucking Community ripoffs. I'm calling them Community ripoffs because Community did it so much better. In the Bizaardvark episode, I forgot to mention this actually. In the Bizaardvark episode, they were doing the Community thing where they're acting it out as the person telling the story and like their character, which is fun. But Community just did it so much better. I will never get over Abed's fucking story.
I hope you're as fertile as I am tonight.
More.
Also, ChatGPT is real, and she's called Cheery, like Siri. Ah, get it? Ah! Des breaks Allie's phone for the cause, but ChatGPT is also evil and is still talking to them, even through the broken phone. Oh my god. The plot got a 5.5 for me. It wasn't good. I fucking love this show, but this was a flop. The acting got a 7. They were having fun with these spooky stories. They got to show their range and their comedic prowess just a little bit, mainly Des. The comedy got a 4, and the Halloween got a 10. Those extra points do rack up, huh? In total, this episode got a 6.625 out of 10.
Thank you to the viewers for staying around.
So random. It's a party, get down. So random. It's a party, get down. A little bit of this and that. Sunny with a Chance is about a bunch of teen actors on their in-universe version of SNL, the sketch show So Random. It's a party, get down. It's a party, get down. The lead, Sunny, was played by Demi Lovato, who went to rehab before the 3rd season of Sunny with a Chance, so they decided to turn the 3rd season into its own show, the in-universe sketch show, So Random. It's a party! It is all the characters from Sunny, like Tawny Hart, Grady Mitchell, Nico Harris, the legend, Zora Lancaster, another legend, and Chad Dylan Cooper. For some reason, why is Chad Dylan Cooper here? But there's also the addition of Shane Zabo, Matthew Bailey, and Damian Johansson. This is where I knew Shane and Damian from, and you can believe I shit my pants when Shane first appeared in the Smosh Squad, and then again when he brought Damian on for show with no name. Shane's whale thing, so funny. I'm not gonna put a clip and drag this out even more. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be biased. I promise, okay? But I have seen all of So Random, like before Smosh and everything. So, I'm not gonna be biased with like the Damien has like a big character in this, and I give extra points to that, but it's not because of Damien, it's because of the character and how iconic he is. The opening sketch is Candy Pants, a song from the iconic duo Hush Puppy and Footy Scent. The choreo is the only enjoyable part of the sketch, if I'm being honest. We then get their SNL monologues with their hosts, which are Andy and Zombie Man. Everybody give it up for Zombie Man. Plus 1 point for Zombie Man, everybody. Hell yeah, they're getting Zombie Man to host the Halloween episode. That's so fun! He ate the audience. Classic Zombie Man. Halloween do's and don'ts are back. In the Sunny with a Chance episode, which I'll talk about in a bit, they had this first, and it was painful for me. It's the same here. Yeah. But Zombie Man eats co-host Andy. Oh no! Zombie Man. We get another reoccurring character, Kid Lawyer Sally Jensen, Halloween edition. Minus 1 point to the comedy because I'm petty and love candy corn, and they shit on candy corn too damn much here. Shane is the exact same, non-derogatory.
I had the most original costume in the world for Halloween. Something I was sure no one would think of. Justin Bieber.
Allison is goated, dude. They're so good. Plus 2 points to acting for Allison, everybody. Then there's Fly Guy, which is just Superman x Johnny Bravo, which, not to be parasocial, is just so Shane. The supervillain Pumpkin Face is going to ruin Halloween. Oh no! Come, Fly Guy, save us! Oh my god, here he comes! However, he gets motion sick when he flies, and he just ate a lot of candy earlier. Hi! Say hi to the audience. Hello. Anyways, Fly Guy starts vomiting like a cat. Allison's character believes in him, which makes him believe in himself. He flies before shitting himself.
I just pooped my tights.
And lastly, there's Rufus. He's a reoccurring character who says shit no one believes, but it turns out to be true. He has a famous catchphrase. You're not gonna believe this. He was funny as a kid, but now he's just really annoying, and it's sad because I loved it. We close out with Ayaz and Man singing Pretty Girls. And Damien hitting us with this.
And special guest Man.
He is the exact same, non-derogatory. This actually wasn't that bad. I was surprised by how much my Smosh bias was settled down. The plot gets a 6, the acting gets an 11, the cast is phenomenal. I'm again not saying that for Smosh bias. They were actually so good. The comedy, unfortunately, gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Acting is different than comedy. Comedy usually comes from the writing, but the acting can save the comedy. The writing of it really was bad. However, Halloween gets a 9 out of 10. Fun! In total, this episode got a surprising 7.5 out of 10. Before watching this episode, I thought it was going to be way lower, like in the 3 to 5 range, if we're pushing it 5.25.
关跟错的 freaking 没有这套。
Don't worry guys, I actually finished this episode, okay? There are different storylines in this episode, so I'm going to be going one by one in the order of their appearances. Delia and Ricky Weaver were asked to present their school presentation in New York on Halloween because all of the other kids they asked chose to study for midterms instead. Afterwards, they meet Trish and Des at the Central Park Spooktacular. Oh my fucking god!
So, this is where I realized that the Monstober fan wiki had lied to me.
The wiki stopped at 2013, making me think that all of the rest of the episodes were just Halloween-themed episodes until Disney Channel stopped running Halloween-themed episodes. According to all my other sources, let's hope I didn't miss any. 47 episodes are enough. I feel like I watched enough. However, they forgot to mention the 7-episode crossover Monstober Spooktacular. Like I said with Sid and Shelby's Haunted Escape, the crossover event was made to showcase the channel's new roster once the other shows died later that season. So far, we have Best Friends Whenever, Girl Meets World, Austin and Ally, Casey Undercover, and I Didn't Do It. And that's only from 3 episodes. We're in for a treat, guys. Anyways, -1 point for how unfunny Des was. I see you have a Des, and I see you have a Ricky was actually kind of funny. -1 point for how bad Ricky's acting is. Just in case everyone has forgotten, his name's not actually Ricky, his name is Logan. I'm just making a joke, guys. Delia and Ricky meet a fortune teller, Chandler Bing's ex-girlfriend, and Ricky gets his red with a basketball. She tries to get them to come to her stand-up show, but since he can't go, she says bad things will happen to him tonight. Delia, with her dumbass brain, thinks that switching costumes would absolve Ricky of all of his problems, since she saw his costume's future, not his. Trish and Des come back. It's bad, -1 point. Ricky has bad luck, so I guess technically what the fortune teller said was true. +1 point for the spooky transition music. The geek Garrett has to take his boss's nephew trick-or-treating. Brother. He dresses as Roid Boy, like an asteroid, and the nephew dresses as his aunt. It's a pretty good costume, I can't lie. They come across a house that has a lady who encourages them to take all of the candy they desire, so they dress in multiple costumes to get as much candy as possible. I want to give a bias point for the neighbor because I love the actress, but I will withhold. Their last costume makes her so sad that she wants them to take even more candy, and it got the audience really good for some reason. She ends up giving them stuff from her yard, so the boss convinces the two to donate it all, including the candy. They do. Lindy and Jasmine meet a guy running a I almost said Piper Curda because I thought of the actress who plays Jasmine's name. I don't know why her name is so vivid to me. Piper Curda. Lindy and Piper Curda meet a guy running a mobile blood drive and agree to give him some. Oh my god, why can't I say that sentence? I'm not repeating it again. He's making Jasmine think he's a little too much like a vampire. A little too much like a vampire. Anyways, she thinks that he's a little too much like a vampire, so much to the point that she backs out of giving blood, but Lindy still goes. They have to come back the next day because of a permission slip because they're 17, whatever. Lindy's extra loopy when she's done, and she has 2 little marks on her neck. The dude flashes his fangs at Jasmine after dropping Lindy off too. He's really selling it, okay? Also, girl, that is not a smoothie. That's juice. I got my cookie, I got my juice. Later, Lindy pranks Jasmine by pretending to be a vampire. The guy was never actually a vampire. He just happened to pull those fangs out of nowhere. The plot gets a 6 out of 10, surprisingly. The plot lines weren't the worst, and they were actually pretty well paced throughout the episode. I do have to hand it to them. The acting gets a 4, the comedy gets a 1, and the Halloween gets a 9. Overall, this episode gets a crisp 5 out of 10.
Oh, we're in a session tonight, gang gang. Oh, we're going out tonight, gang gang. Oh my god, this song is so lit.
The little brother Augie's doing his meta Kevin Jonas thing, and it's actually sick as fuck. The different angles... Yeah. 1 point for Halloween. He's our MC of the night, introducing us to the A, B, and C plot through different specific characters' fears. Throughout the episode, Topanga, my nemesis, tries to get him to stop talking to himself, eat dinner, and get ready for bed and stuff. Just pure evil. He's talking to us, Topanga. Get the fuck out of here. God, I hate what they did to Boy Meets World, bro. I hate what they did here. No spooky theme song anyway. I was trying to think of the theme song, but I can only think of the Liv and Maddie theme song. Play the Girl Meets World theme song. Oh.
I feel that I'm gonna take on the world.
Our first story is Farkle being afraid of gym class because Maya could hurt him. They play softball with Maya as the pitcher. Maya rudely shuts down the only non-annoying cheer that Riley does this episode.
Check her out. Check our little picture out. Riles? All right.
You know, maybe I understand what Farkle's talking about here. There are these brief lightning motifs, I think is what you would call it, whenever it comes to Maya in the beginning. It's like we're in Farkle's shoes for brief moments, and I actually really do like that. It's the second most interesting thing about this episode. Number 1 being the costumes. Plus 2 points, 0.5 for each kid. Come on. Serving steampunk realness. Bring this back, nerds. The moment I get my money up, this is how I will be clad. It's a group costume. Right. They ate that. I don't care. I miss 2014 so bad, guys. After some mischief from Farkle to Maya, Lucas forcefully taps in his pitcher to purposefully throw the ball at Farkle to show him that if he can handle being hit by Lucas as hard as he could, he can handle Maya. It made me laugh out loud. I fucking love this show. I know I said I hate it, but this shit, comedy gold.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah, I did.
Why would you do that?
I did it for you, Farkle.
You did that as hard as you could?
Pretty much. How do you feel?
I'm fine.
This was Disney Channel's Glee. And I need y'all to dissect that statement as hard as your brain will allow it to properly understand what I mean when I say that. I hate the lesson learning delivery in this show so bad. It's the worst part about it, but again, it's what makes it funny. As Maya pitches, there's a cut to black. Cut to black, cut to black. And Farkle hits the softball. I would love to see how that went down in this itty bitty room. -1 point. The second story is Riley being afraid to sleep on the ghetto side of town at Maya's house. Historically, Riley always forces her dad, my arch nemesis, Corey Matthews, to pick her up early every time she sleeps over. Before they even go to sleep, like 30 minutes to an hour before. This part takes place post their trick-or-treating festivities, so this barely has anything to do with Halloween, and more to do with this lesson learning gimmick by learning to not be afraid of the ghetto. You wanna know how that happens? After annoying unfunny goofs, Maya's annoying grandmother, bless her heart, and Maya's adorable ferret Ginger, plus 1 point for the overall plot because it's my favorite animal. Farkle and Lucas scare the girls through Maya's window in their werewolf masks as they're trying to sleep. Maya didn't tell Riley it was 7 p.m. so she'd actually sleep at the sleepover. Smart. See, that's a good friend. I don't know why she puts up with Riley. You know what this episode made me think about, guys? How deadly afraid I am as coming off to Riley to my friends. What if I'm just Riley Matthews, guys? Oh my god. Oh my god. Riley says, and I quote, I was actually afraid of Farkle until he took his mask off, and when he did, it was just Farkle. -1.5 points to the plot. The third story is about Augie and him learning to sleep without his parents and overcoming his fear of the monster under his bed. There's an actual monster who lives under his bed, Simon, and he's adorable! I love him! The monster stole Augie's stuffy, so he stole his Papa Meat Canyon stuffy. After Augie learns to not be afraid of him anymore, Simon turns out to be imaginary the whole time. Guys, why was that actually cute? Plus 2 points to the plot, okay? We might be back a little bit. That was the only genuinely good part of the episode. I'm actually genuinely smiling right now. It was so cute. The plot is a 2.5. This was an insane episode, guys. The acting gets a 2, just an all-around bad day today, guys. And the comedy gets a 2 here as well, alright? The only thing I actually laughed out loud at, and I'm being generous with the phrase laughed out loud, was at the beginning with Farkle, when he says, they throw things at me! Who? Maya! Halloween gets a 6, and that's solely because of my added points. Overall, this episode gets an undeserved 4.125 out of 10. I feel like it should have been lower. Promiscuous touch, you're teasing me. You know what I want, and I got what you need. This is the Wizards of Waverly Plays 2-parter, and instead of doing it separately, I'm doing it together because I like episode 1 more than I do episode 2, and I didn't want to have to explain episode 2 before explaining episode 1, so we're just doing it together. Their in-universe wizard school WizTech is just a blatant parody of Harry Potter with the epic bearded, wise, 3,000-year-old wizard, Professor Crumbs.
Work it, sister.
He shows up at the Russo's wizard lair as Daddy Russo is teaching the kids about shape-shifting. But I don't know, guys. I don't think that's going to be an important plot later. Also, forgive me for just blatantly reading the script. This is a lot to go through, and I want to get it out soon, guys. I really want to get this video out because I'm so excited about it.
It's October 29th. I'm working so hard to please you.
Professor Crumbs basically forces the Russos to house all of the students at WizTech while WizTech deals with its plastic ball infestation. As is universally known, plastic is kryptonite for wizards. The evil Jewish kid from Glee is here. You know, the one that they gave the last name Israel to. Ben Israel. Very Harry Potter of Ryan Murphy. His friend Ronald Jr. is hot or whatever and flirts with Alex. At this point in the show, Alex is dating woodshop guy Dean, who is not very good at expressing his feelings. He expresses them through his woodshop assignments, never actually making something for her. He gave her a project that he got a D- on, but made it look like it said a B-, so he could say, well, it's special. It's my first B-. What is up with Alex and these men, dude? Anyways, Alex basically cheats on Dean with Ronald Jr. You know what? What's up with Alex? She goes on a full date with him and is like, oh, this romantic night we had together? A date? No. Which is very Alex, but like, come on. Disney just loves promoting cheating to their demographic of children, alright? We all remember Spencer. Oh yeah, the two-timing pig? Justin is apparently the only wizard with a brain who attempts to investigate what actually caused the plastic ball infestation. He finds out immediately that Spencer's dad from Good Luck Charlie, Ronald Jr.'s evil dad, is the one behind it all. Except, he is not a good villain. He has no end goal to his evil. He just wants to do evil. And he's pretty dumb. Justin goes to Ronald Jr. to berate him for being evil, just like his evil father. Ronald Jr. knows about his father being evil, but didn't want to tell anyone that his father's evil because he didn't want to be judged for it, just like Justin's doing to him right now. Well, Ronald Jr. is actually evil. So, he turns Dean into Jell-O, goddamn, when he comes into the sandwich shop to give Alex a woodshop gift he made for her. And Ronald Jr. shapeshifts into Dean to break up with Alex. He somehow got Dean's phone before turning him into Jell-O, when we just didn't see that happen. Ronald Jr. traps Jell-O Dean at WizTech. Alec talks about her breakup with Dean with Ronald Jr. on their date to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and he tells her that she should come back to WizTech with him for a fresh start. There was nothing Halloween about this episode at all. Part 1 got a 5 out of 10 for the plot and an 8.5 out of 10 for the acting. The cast is pretty damn good. The comedy was a 7 out of 10. It was the kind of Disney comedy that's only funny with the right actors, and luckily they have the right actors for this part. It's the same actors for the second, but seeing how this had more to do with wizarding than ghouls with no Halloween spirit, it gets a 0 out of 10. All in all, part 1 gets a 5.1 out of 10.
Hi guys, it's October 30th. I'm grinding. In part 2, we get an actual Harry Potter parody. The set is sick as fuck. I cannot sit here and lie to you. I love the way that they use the set directing-wise. For example, the scene with Ronald and Ronald Jr. We also see here how Ronald Jr. fills in the evil stuff that his father fails to do in his plans. However, they are both too dumb to see taking over WizTech as an option. Justin had to accidentally put that thought into Ronald's head, which made him put that thought into Ronald Jr.'s head as a viable evil idea. Selena carries this episode in the comedy department. Nothing in this episode made me laugh, but I didn't fall asleep, even though I wanted to, because Selena kept me engaged. This episode is boring as fuck. Justin sold out WizTech to the company WizWorld so they deal with the plastic ball problem, by the way. The main guy at WizWorld is Gibby. Anyways, now WizTech is an ad for WizWorld, including the changing of classes to selling and buying WizWorld products, just Silicon Valley Central. Who gives a fuck about that though, because that is not solved in this episode, nor is it Halloween related. Ronald Jr. lures Alex to the top of the Tower of Evil using the elevator, and Justin and Max go to save her by taking the stairs. Ronald Jr. turns Alex evil by having her play a round of evil tetherball with him. What the fuck is going on? No joke has landed, by the way, especially not this loogie joke from Max.
We're trying to stop evil. You fight evil your way, I'll fight it mine.
Professor Crumbs, we're too late. I would have been here sooner, but somebody spit on me. I had to change my robes.
Bullseye!
Evil Alex is cute. This is the only Halloween part of the episode, seeing as they get into horror/evil related costumes. It's literally just girl versus monster. Since Ronald Jr. is apparently the evil Professor King of WizTech now, that means he gets everything, including Crumb's beard.
I'll take that beard.
You know what? This brought me back. Plus 2 points to the comedy department. The only way to break the evil curse Ronald Jr. forced upon Alex is if one of them is in love with someone or whatever. What the fuck? Stupid Disney shit. Alex realizes she is in love with woodshop teen. So our 5 minutes of Halloween are up. Ugh. Old Ronald makes it to the top of the Tower of Evil with Dean Jello because he couldn't resist eating the Jello. Ronald Jr.'s evil acting is so bad. I'm docking 1.5 points from the acting. Oh my god, I can't say points. Dock another from the plot while we're at it, because what do you mean Alex doesn't make it into the elevator? Nuh-uh. At least we can add another comedy point because of the mustache bit. Here's the context for the horrible elevator bit. It's with Justin and Max, where the elevator is an inconvenience to them. It's just really bad. So bad that when I actually watched Get Along Little Zombie, I genuinely went, ooh! That's embarrassing. Anyways, what did this have to do with Halloween? Enough for me to give it a 2 out of 10. Okay. The costumes were fun. I can't deny that. I'm switching it around. I'm starting with the Halloween early. Did that fuck you up, guys? Anyways, the plot gets a 1. It was fun, but like, the acting went down to a 5.5. Ronald Jr.'s acting is the same way I feel about Peter Hale from MTV's Teen Wolf, which is I can name 5 guys I knew in middle school musical theater who would have killed for this role. The comedy got a 6 for me. I actually kind of lied. Oh, it didn't actually go down that bad. Alex made a lot of things better. I don't know what Justin and Max were doing this episode, but it wasn't funny at all. Anyways, this episode got a total of 3.6. Sorry for fucking up the points thing. I thought I really got it good. I'm sorry. I put the first episode above the second, but I'm grouping them together for continuity purposes. Like this video knows anything about continuity. And like there's any continuity in a ranking video. Anyways.
Take your protein pills and put your freaking helmet on.
I pretty much already explained the premise of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody when I talked about On Deck, so just go back if you don't remember. The boys meet twins Jessica and Janice and invite them to see a movie with them. Their mom, Carrie, doesn't understand that Zack and Cody want a bit of freedom and goes to the movies with the 4 of them. When they want to see another movie with the girls by themselves, the boys give Carrie the whole "we're not kids anymore" talk and play it like a breakup for comedy, I guess. She agrees as long as she gets to approve of the movie. Also, I forgot to mention I can't find my little connector for the mic to my computer. My bad. Woo! We're in a bit of a time crunch here, seeing as I want this to be posted tomorrow. They want to see a scary zombie movie, but she says no, and so they end up sneaking away instead to watch it. The movie Zombie Mom, yeah, it traumatized Zack to the point that he sleepwalks up and piles all of the lobby's furniture against the doors to ward off zombies. Mr. Mosby confronts the twins, but they both deny doing anything because they don't remember doing anything. When they go back to their room, they find items from the lobby in Zack's bed, and Zack manages to avoid every trap that he and Cody set up when he sleepwalks the next night. After everyone can't manage to wake up Zack, Carrie does and reprimands both of them for watching the movie and Zack for, doing all that. While all of this is happening, London cosplays being poor to go out with the candy delivery guy.
Do I look poor?
Because he hates rich people with no hearts or souls. It reminds me of everyone in 2021. For some reason, back when everyone wanted to be poor, because being poor is apparently a good thing. Girl, if I didn't grow up in poverty, I'd be flexing that. I'd be like, yeah, I grew up in a stable income house. I grew up not having to be on EBT. The state of the world's fucking terrifying now. With everything going on right now with Snap. I live in California, but still, I'm so scared for literally everybody in this country. That doesn't mean I can't be scared for literally everybody in this country. What the fuck? Anywho, she pretends to work at the candy stand to impress him, but eventually snaps. He still likes London because she is one of those rich people with a heart and soul. Why am I... None of this has been Halloween related. The only Halloween related thing of this was me. That was so scary. I still put this pretty high up because it is a better episode in comparison to everything below it, in my opinion. And once again, this is all my opinion. The plot, acting, and comedy all got a 7. The Halloween got a 0. Leaving this episode with a total of 5.25 out of 10. Sunny with a Chance follows a girl named Sunny Monroe as she navigates her new job as a cast member on the SNL for Kids So Random. I kind of explained everything that you need to know about the characters in So Random because this episode has nothing to do with Sunny with a Chance and is just a So Random holiday special. With this in-universe special episode being hosted by Shaquille O'Neal, who goes MIA at the beginning of the taping because he has in-universe stage fright.
Jack, what are you doing in there?
Hiding.
I'm scared to perform in front of a live audience.
The only way for him to calm down is by acting out a scene from his favorite TV show, Mackenzie Falls, of course. The show starring Chad Dillon Cooper, who is in the So Random spinoff for some reason, who's So Random's rival. And then, spoiler, him and Sonny end up dating. And then the writers do some fucked up shit that I don't want to talk about right now. Anyways, I guess this is a Halloween costume. The sketches are mid as fuck, except for one, which isn't even related to Halloween. However, these actors know how to make a mid-script work for them because they are talented actors. Back when Disney hired kid actors for their talent. Full shade. No shade to the kids, no shade to the kids. Full shade to Disney. You know, Tubi and Darman exist now. Okay, I'm being mean to these kid actors because there's too many bad ones. This episode opens with the usual cold open style for Sonny with a Chance, a sketch from the in-universe show So Random. Only this time, you know, it's a whole episode of So Random. But without Shane Zabo, Damian Johansson, and the glue, Matthew Bailey, how am I supposed to cope? This opener is about the Check It Out girls, two ditzy dumb airhead stereotypes who can't understand that their customers on Halloween are not costumes, but actual creatures, like a zombie, Shacula, and a witch that turns them tiny so they can sing their Check It Out Girls theme song.
Check it out! I'm a 5-0! We're the Check It Out girls and we're checking out for you! Check it out!
Shacula was great, okay? Bonus points for that. This was my first script, so I don't know how many bonus points I added. Sorry, guys! Everything else I wrote in a notebook. Let me actually show y'all real quick. What the fuck? Why can't I? Okay. I could never get AI accusations. This is where we get the start of the Halloween party do's and don'ts, which aren't funny at all. There's also Roadkill McGill's roadside dinner, where two seemingly wealthy people eat some roadkill barbecue prepared by two stereotypical hillbillies. I love hillbillies too much to
disrespect
them by going any further on this sketch. These sketches are split and scattered to make the episode full enough to include the dessert that we will talk about in a moment. Before that, they got All-Star Weekend as one of their performancers. Shaq introducing All-Star Weekend is crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, All-Star Weekend.
Their performance has nothing to do with Halloween, just like, there's a lot of pretty girls in this. Then they got Demi Lovato as Sunny Monroe performing a Sunny Monroe song that has nothing to do with Halloween either. It's a banger though. Finally, the dessert, making babies cry.
It's making babies cry.
This is iconic. I loved this sketch growing up, and I remember it doing pretty well online. Don't even get me started on how good Brandon Michael Smith is here. Even though the song had nothing to do with Halloween except for, like, baby costumes, I will not be docking points, seeing as this is the legendary Making Babies Cry. The plot got a 6 for me. The sketches were pretty bad, but Shaq and the pacing of the sketches kind of saved it for me, so the acting gets an 11. This is an insane cast, okay? Every cast member is funny as fuck, and it's kind of insane for a Disney show, the amount of talent that they truly had. Like, of course, every Disney show has talented actors, but this one, I'm not being overdramatic here. They were actually really fucking good for the cards that they were dealt. But that does not mean that the writing was funny. As I said, mid scripts can be carried by good actors, but at the end of the day, it's still mid. So it gets a 4 out of 10. The Check It Out girls were annoying, but they're the Check It Out girls. I gave Halloween a 9. I said, like, in the vacuum of an episode of a sketch show, and I get that, but that was before seeing So Random, which I thought was going to be worse. This was the first one I chose via random draw. I put all of them onto a strip of loose paper, put it in a bowl. Ooh. So, anyways.
I'm the shit. Obby, baby tryna copy. I'm the shit. I'm the shit.
Lab Rats is the best live-action sitcom Disney ever created. It's about a kid named Leo whose mom marries Disney's Elon Musk, Donald Davenport, who happens to have 3 bionic teenage superhumans sleeping in capsules in his basement. There's Adam, Bree, and Chase, ABC. Chase is the hot one. Leo loves them like his real siblings and helps them navigate high school and the public for the first time, which leads to them helping Leo navigate high school and the public, all while keeping their big secret hidden. In season 4, they scrap that, kidnap us, and hold us captive on an island full of dozens of other superhumans for Adam, Bree, and Chase to train. It's a long story, okay? If that wasn't bad enough, they took one of the greatest perfectly arranged theme songs and opening styles of all time and fucked it up.
Living on a bionic island.
Ew, ew, ew. Oh, and the principal at their high school? Yeah, Principal Perry. She knows their big secret and lives on the island with them to sexually harass their uncle. It's another long story. Just watch the show. The other seasons are great. I'm being serious. Yes, I'm fully genuinely recommending a Disney Channel sitcom to you like it's Succession. We have an actual Lab Rats Halloween themed episode here. It's the first Halloween at the Academy. Principal Perry wants to explore the scary uninhabited island that Douglas told them not to go to, and Leo, Chase, and Bree go with her so she doesn't do some fucked up shit. She steals a buried skull from the island, of course. -2 points to the plot, 1 for stealing from an island, and 1 for Perry being there in the first place. While we're at it, -2 points overall for how much of a perv she's being with Douglas. Imagine if this were a Pair of Kings crossover where they're on the island of King Cow. That would kind of fuck, dude. While they're on this island, Adam teaches this kid, Bob, about Halloween and scaring people. Spookiness ensues! Unfortunately, we're adding a point for Principal Perry.
My hairpiece!
That actually made me laugh. My hairpiece! There's a bunch of death traps that were set up by Chase, who became possessed by whatever haunts the skull after attempting to return it to the island. It wasn't a possession, but a virus. Made by Douglas with no antidote that turned Chase into a blood-seeking deranged maniac. Douglas tells him that after Bree gets infected herself. He makes an antidote, so everything's all good now, guys. No need to worry. Adam puts some of Bree's makeup on and uses a bit of his heat vision, yeah, he has that, forgot to mention that, to fake being infected, and then stabs Bree and Chase with the antidote. +1 point to the plot, okay? I like the heat vision. That was sick as fuck. Great use of that. This isn't one of Lab Rat's greatest episodes, let alone entries to this list. The plot gets a 5 out of 10. The acting gets a 7 out of 10 because they're always pretty good. The comedy gets a 3 out of 10, okay? It was bad. Not only was the plot with Adam and Bob stupid, but Leo kept referencing horror movies and the writing was just awful. His acting could only save enough. And finally, Halloween gets a 3 out of 10, seeing as Adam and Bob's plotline was the only Halloween-related thing. I did give them their flowers for the vampire zombie look. So this episode's overall total came out to a 2.75 out of 10. And unfortunately, guys, that's where I'm going to be leaving this part. There are 24 episodes to go, and all of them have a Halloween theme behind them. Isn't that crazy? I really thought I would be able to do that, but then with, political stress and then personal family stress that literally came out of nowhere, I'm overwhelmed in a good way, because editing this video while I've been overwhelming myself with it has been actually saving me. It's been so much fun to make, and I will be getting it out by tomorrow. I don't care, even though I work tomorrow, because I got a job, guys. In the time that I've been editing this video, I got a job. Isn't that so exciting? I applied to 50 places. I got 2 interviews. America, America. But all of the episodes that you were watching this video waiting to see, it's going to be in that part. And it might come out at a time that will definitely piss people off. And I don't care, because I think that Halloween should last as long as another holiday. And I will do nothing if not have it come out on Christmas or my birthday. So expect to see part 2 either on the 25th or the 30th of December at the latest. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys for watching this, even though I'm really, really, really sorry that you guys had to be blue-balled like that. Oh my god, it looks like I got a lip filler, bro. I'm really sorry it took me so long to post another video. I've been working so hard on another video, and then I was like, wait guys, it's September. I actually want to make that Monstober video. Next year, I do have good, easy, well-digestible plans that won't overwork me and that I won't, overcommit myself to. But of course, give me suggestions. I would love to, do a live stream and then do a teleparty and watch stuff with you guys. That would be genuinely so fun. Anyways, bye-bye!
Just like a perfect rhyme, like you're not even trying, like pieces of a puzzle without each other. We're in trouble, hey, I will always stay by your side forever, 'cause we're better together.
Anyways.